Hi and welcome. My name's Ilana King, and I am an entrance exam specialist, and I help other tutors who would like to also be entrance exam specialists. And anybody who's watched any of my videos or knows me knows that my emphasis is always on fun. It can be a really tricky process preparing for these exams, and I want to keep it fun for my students. So in these videos, I show you lots of different ways to do that. And today I want to focus on second stage interviews. And this is something that strikes fear into people's hearts, even as an adult, the idea of going in for an interview. So when you think about your students, whether they are young 7+ students or older 11+ students, it's a scary thing. And often in preparation, parents and tutors focus very much on the types of questions that are going to be asked. And there's lists of questions that you can prepare, but I actually think you can over prepare, and memorizing kind of responses to these is not a great way of preparing. And it's not fun either. So what I like to do is get a student just used to talking, so used to discussion, and not just any discussion, but of course, thinking about the types of questions that have them thinking on their feet, that there's no right or wrong answer to. So I do this with a whole bunch of different cards that I've printed out. I'm going to show those to you now. So these are titled thinking cards, but the idea of them is they're just topics that you can pick a card and discuss. So, I mean, just the very top card here, okay? Look at this track. What left it? Where has it come from? Why is it here? This isn't an interview question. It's a discussion question, but it's a really good way of thinking about how do you answer a question that you don't actually know the answer to? There's no right answer to this, right? So the idea just being that you can start a discussion, and you can start to practice those techniques of stopping, thinking, how much are you going to say? How much do you expand? And I've got loads of these, and some of them are, I love them. I mean, this one, you can only save 3 things from your house if there's a fire, right? Doesn't include people. What would you save and why? Right? I love these. If you had to go on a journey to the moon, which 2 story characters would you choose to go with you and why? You know, there's no sort of right or wrong answers here. You know, if you were the 3 bears, what would you do about Goldilocks? I love these, right? And I've got tons of them. You can see that I've just printed and laminated them, and you can do these just as easily in an online session. And you can turn it into a game as well. So you can shuffle the cards. These are like any other cards, right? You can put them into a pile face down. You have to take the next card, and you take turns going back and forth, or you could spread them out on a table and turn them over. Always try and make it a little bit fun, a little bit interactive. I've got a second set of cards, and I don't even remember where these came from. I've had them for years. These are called speaking and listening cards. You've won £1,000. You have to spend it all in one day. What would you buy? You know, and just they're really fun ideas. If you could only eat 3 foods for a year, which foods would you choose and why? And again, same thing. I've got absolutely masses of them here, so you can play a game. You can turn it into a game. And what is it that you are concentrating on with the student is not their answer. This is what is really good to get across in these discussions with your students. It doesn't matter that much what you answer. Of course, there are a couple of things you should avoid ever saying in an interview, but generally, there's no right or wrong answers. It's about showing the way that you think and that you are creative in your thinking. So, and the way that you present yourself in the speaking. So that's why I love these. They take the focus away from those classic interview questions that are so dull after a while and put them back onto just developing that language, developing that discussion, developing that speech. You can probably find some of these online. I can't remember where I printed them off. I certainly didn't make them. Probably a commercial site somewhere. So you could Google it, or you could create your own, come up with your own wacky ideas. I hope you find this fun. If you use it in your sessions, do let me know.